So this is the first lecture on electronic product design. As the name indicates, this syllabus covers all the aspects of the product development cycle, okay, and particularly that too in the electronic domain. We know that each and every factory manufacturing industry will require electronic devices, electronic systems in it. Okay, this is an example of Mercedes manufacturing industry where every aspect of the manufacturing is being controlled by the electronics. Okay, if we think about a simple product life cycle, okay, you can see that let us go through this graph which talks about the turnover and the profit over a period of time. Okay, the upper graph indicates the turnover of particular product and the lower graph indicates the profit of that product. In the starting phase, in this phase, if you see, we do have product planning. Okay, what sort of features the product must have, then product development. According to those specifications, we are going to develop the product. Then preparation for the market. Is market really suitable for launching of the product? During this, the company is earning nothing, but the costs are being utilized to develop that product. Later on, when the product is introduced in the market, then we do have the losses, but the turnover starts increasing, and the later on, after some moment of time, the profit starts. Getting profit from that particular product starts. Slowly, that product captures the market and becomes matured. After some period of time, there is a saturation for that product. Means, if I say that a vehicle is being manufactured, slowly the vehicle rate, the uh, what I will say, the vehicle purchase rate in the market goes on increasing, and after some time that rate becomes constant. Means maybe probably 5000 vehicles per month, that will go 5500, 5400, but somewhere near to that number saturation will come. Okay, after that the declination of that product selling starts, and here it is the important point where we must think about the opportunity. Okay, what do you mean by opportunity? Remodify the product and relaunch. It happens a lot in the vehicle industry. Take an example of TVS Scooty. Initially, there was a lot of boom for the Scooty model. Then we have Pape, then we have Pape Plus, and lots of different models. What they do? The engine remains same, the change in the body of the product, that's it. And they find it as an opportunity. They modify the design, and instead of having the losses being occurred for that particular product, now they have new graphs, new turnover and new profits for the similar kind of product. So this is a product life cycle. Okay, it goes on always. There are n number of examples which go through these kind of iterations. Okay, let us have some examples for the products. Personal computer, microwave oven, photocopier, hugely called as the Xerox machine because Xerox was the pioneer in photocopier. Then pocket calculator, every engineer, you, me, everyone uses that one. Fax machine was having the hit in the previous electronic era. Then birth control pill, the medical. Then home VCR. VCR, everyone knows about it. Then communication satellite, we cannot live without it. Integrated circuit. Then automatic tailor machine, answering machines, touchstone telephone, okay, laser surgery, the spacecraft designs, then CDs, then organ transplanting, fiber optic system, then disposable diapers. If you think about the diapers, we do have the industries who are making billions of dollars by manufacturing them. Then MS-DOS operating system, then MRI. Every product we are talking about here includes electronics in it. Okay, maybe probably for the manufacturing purpose. The end user may not be using the electronic directly, just like in case of the disposable diapers, but the manufacturing industry do uses it. And all of these product developments, okay, what we are talking about, we are talking about the developments. Okay, all the product developments do have a systematic approach. Okay, what kind of systematic approach we should follow, this is the syllabus which talks about it. So first step is introduction of the product. What do you want from that particular product? What are its specifications? Okay, then what sort of hardware will be required? What sort of testing methodology should be adopted while designing the hardware of that particular product? If we are associated with hardware, will we require any sort of software? If yes, then their associated testing methods. Okay, nowadays we know that 99% of the electronic product systems or manufacturing systems are embedded systems. They do have the combination of hardware as well as software. Okay, so if you want to have a hardware, debug it. If you want to have a software, debug it. Okay, then later on we do have the PCB design for that particular hardware. This was the design part. Okay, this was the actual specification design part of the hardware, and as the circuit of that particular design is being prepared, we must think about the PCB. Okay, and we do have lots of variants for the PCB: single layer, multiple layer, dual layer, multi-layer, epoxy PCBs, flexible PCBs, which kind of PCB we want to have. And moreover, if you have the radio frequencies associated with your design, then you need to have the different kind of PCB design. Only copper material will not help. We have to think about the different materials as well. Then after we are ready with hardware, we are ready with software, we are ready with PCB, and everything is assembled into a package, then we can say that okay, the prototype of the product is ready, and now we want to debug it and we want to test it in the real time environment. Okay, real time environment, whether those specifications which were decided in the first phase are up to the mark. Are we receiving the similar or same specifications from the end product prototype? Okay, if everything goes okay, you are having a piece of cake, and that is not the probably condition for the products. You have to rework on the hardware, software, PCB every time if the product is not giving the desired specification. And if now everything is okay, then the last part, very important, documentation. This is also called as technology transfer. Okay, means what design specifications, Okay, then what sort of formulae, then what sort of steps, then methods were used to develop that particular product, so that even if a person is not working in the company and if any of the team wants to recreate the same product, they must have the blueprint for that particular product. And most one of the important things is bill of material. This is very important because this is going to decide the maximum retail price of your product. If you don't think about how much cost is being invested to develop that product, you really cannot work on the MRP or pricing of that material. And this is the syllabus for this subject, electronic product design. This is unit number 1, then this is unit number 2, this is unit number 3, this is unit number 4, this is unit number 5, and this is unit number 6. Straightforward, starting from the design specification going up to the documentation. Okay, so in detail, if we talk about the introduction, what do we have? The man machine dialogue, sorry, the man machine dialogue, then industrial designs, what kind of stuff we must consider so that the human handling of the machine must be at easy, the designing must be user centric, then what are the different elements of the successful design of a product. Okay, just like cognition and ergonomics. Okay, if I say that we do have Nokia headphones, when we put those headphones into ear, your ear starts um, what I will say feeling uncomfortness after 5 minutes. That design is definitely not ergonomics. Okay, if we put down a Sony earphone into your ear, that feels like awesome along with the music, so that is ergonomics. Okay, then what sort of packaging and what are the different factors affecting it? You can consider different examples of the mobile phones packaging. The packagings are so awesome, so glossy. You do have the temptations like you can see the packaging and designing of the chocolates. Okay, then design for manufacture. Okay, your design must be like that, it should be manufacturable. Let us take an example of VLSI. If I say that I want to have a MOSFET at 1 nanometer, that is very fantastic. It can be done on the simulation, but it cannot be manufactured. Okay, then assembly and disassembly, then wiring, temperature, vibrations and shock, we have to consider each and every specification. Okay, for the product. Then we have to think about the safety measures, then environment like noise, then energy coupling, grounding is very important because ideally ideally what we say that ground is at always 0 volt, but this is not the practical case because we know that ground is the element where all current is going to flow. Okay, all branches current is going to flow. This is the ground. Fine, so this node do have all current from all branches. Sorry, so I can say that I is definitely not 0, and since ground is wire, let us say it is a copper wire, it will have some resistance. So resistance is not equal to 0, and we know that V is equal to IR. So we have a value for I, we have a value of R. So therefore voltage is not 0. So ground is equal to 0 is completely a myth. You have to take care of it. Okay, then filtering of the signals, then shielding of the various radio waves. Okay, If you do not perform a nice and tightly shielding, this is going to have lots of noise and interferences with another components being utilized. Okay. Then hardware design and testing methods. This is unit number 2. You do have lots of small points, particularly unit number 2 and unit number 3. So we are going to see what are different design processes, then referring to the various requirements, then formulating the specifications, then deciding the design specifications, what what is the difference in between the specification and the requirements. All of them are a kind of write a short note on, okay. Then the system must be partitioned while you are designing the electronic system, depending upon the functional design, or maybe defined depending upon the architecture design. Okay. For an example, if we say that we have a big PCB where you do have RF components as well as digital components, as well as we will say analog. Okay. Analog referring to frequencies below than RF. Okay. Below RF frequencies. So it is always better to have the partitioning of the system. Okay. So let us put this much region for the RF signals. Let us put digital signals over here, and let us say the analog frequency signals region will be this one. So we have partitioned depending upon the operating frequency, then depending upon the functionality. Okay. And maybe if inside the digital itself we do have some sort of ADC and DAC, put them together. If we do have microprocessors or microcontrollers, then depending upon the architectures of the component used, we can partition them likewise. Okay. Then what is the difference between the functional model and the architecture model? We are going to see, write a short note on, or write a difference in between the two. Then what do you mean by prototyping of a model, and how we can tackle with the performance and the efficiency measures. Then formulating a test plan. We want to test our design, am I right? That is important part. So writing down the specification, depending on that writing down the test procedures and various test cases. Then egoless design and design reviews. We should put down the true design reviews. If certain part of the design is not up to the mark, is not giving the up to the mark specifications, then we have to write it down. What do you mean by egoless design? Means what? The testing engineer who is working like he knows nothing. Okay. So testing must be done in a way that person knows nothing. Okay. So you should think about that way. There was one case study before I guess 15 or 18 years back. The mobile phone GUI were tested by the monkeys. Okay, you must not write down this one in examination. Okay, the GUI of the mobile phones were tested by the monkeys, whether monkeys are able to recognize the icons given in the mobile phone. If they can do, then humans can do. So that is the egoless design. Monkeys don't know anything. Okay. Then module debug and test. There are different methodologies. So black box test, white box test, and gray box text test. And there is a small difference in between the three. We are going to look into that. Then third one, software design and testing methods. So what are different types of software? There are different types of software development. Out of that we are going to see waterfall model. Okay. Then what are different matrices to evaluate the software development, and what are different limitations for the softwares. Okay. Then risk abatement and failure preventions, software bugs and testing. Okay, we want to remove the software bugs. Then what are different good programming practices. Okay, we are going to see that those one. Then how we should design the user interface. We know that at least monkey should be able to use. So then later on we are going to see embedded real-time software, what are different kind of softwares available with us. Okay. Then going for unit number 3, that is once again a hardware part that talks about a simple definitions and the basic introduction with the PCB design. So we are going to see the fundamental definitions, what are different standards which PCB design must follow, then what sort of rounding topologies configurations are available while designing the PCB, then layer stack up assignment just like your dual layer and multi-layer PCBs. Okay. If you have observed, I don't know whether you have paid attention towards it, but when we do have PCB tracks which are flowing on the PCB, we never have these kind of angles. We always have these kind of angles. Okay, you might have noticed this one. We never have these kind of angles because these angles give more resistance. Okay, these angles gives more resistance as well as they produce more heat. Okay, compared to the second this methodology. Okay, so they always have this kind of tilted turns. Then grounding methodologies, very interesting. Just before some time we have discussed that the ground is actually not at 0 volt. So what is the reason? We know that V is equal to IR, and we have lots of I. Only possible efforts we can do is reduce the R. Okay, how R can be reduced? If you remember a formula, R is equal to rho L upon A. This is resistivity, this is length, okay, and this is area. This means if area is increased, so I can say that resistance is going to decrease. So instead of having a simple track for the ground, what designers do, they have a complete plane. They have a complete plane or rectangle only for the ground part. Okay, so area increases, resistance decreases. So for that purpose we have to mention we have to consider aspect ratio as well as we have to consider image planes. Then functional partitioning, just like we discussed about the depending upon function, we must partition our system so that the signals will not interfere with each other. Then we must think about the critical frequencies at which our design is going to work. So for that purpose we do have bypassing capacitor as well as decoupling capacitors. Then we must think about the ESD protection, electrostatic discharge circuitry, that must be associated especially when we are dealing with the microwaves. And for that purpose we must introduce the guard band inside the PCB to avoid the interference of the signals. Then the next unit is unit number 5, product debugging and testing. So this unit talks about the prototypes, the final prototypes of the design. So what are different steps of the debugging, what are different techniques for troubleshooting, then how we can characterize or how can we can measure the input and output voltages, then what are different kind of components are being used in the electronic products. So electromechanical components, then passive active components and active devices, then op amps, then ADC, all of them are a kind of introductory part. Okay, then digital components, digital ICs, microprocessor, then inspection and test of the components, how these components can be inspected before putting down into your actual prototype, and after putting down into the actual prototype we can test them. So this is called as on-board testing. Okay, then we can also perform the simulation, then prototyping and testing of the complete product, integration of everything. I want to now integrate RF as well as analog as well as digital, everything on a single board. Usually this is called as system on chip, SoC. Then validation and verification of the particular system. then it is very important to check whether your design is EMI EMC compatible. EMI means electromagnetic interference and EMC electromagnetic compatible. Okay, your product must be compatible to the electromagnetic interferences. It must not produce interference for other components, other circuits, other product, as well as it must not be susceptible to EMI produced by other products and components. Okay, this is the unit number 5. And unit number 6, documentation, very important. So what do you mean by documentation? What is the need of it, and what are different types of documentation? What sort of records we have to maintain? Then what do you mean by accountability and liability, one line definitions for that? Then what sort of audience you are targeting for? This is nothing but whether you want to design a user manual or you want to design a technical manual, okay, or you want to design an application note, what sort of audience you are targeting for. Okay, then preparation of that particular document, how to present it. Okay, particularly in user manual, you might have seen that there are line diagrams. Okay, line diagrams मतलब टेबल निकाला है तो लाइन की तरह निकाला है, those are not fancy tables. Okay, देन प्रिजर्वेशन ऑफ द डॉक्यूमेंट्स, कैसे रखना है भाई, डिजिटली रखना है या फिर यू वांट टू मेक अ फाइल एंड एवरीथिंग ओवर देयर. देन मेथड्स ऑफ डॉक्यूमेंटेशन, वी डू हैव, we can provide some sort of visuals into the user manual. Okay, then layout of the document, whether you want to go for a single page document or page को अपना you go for a landscape page and you put down some columns into it, and you write down the specification and the information of the product into it, how you want to have the layout of the document. And most important is bill of the material. Bill of the material will have the list of components. Okay, and then price of those particular components, and at the end we will have the total. This is the unit number 6. Fine. And if you club all units starting from unit number 1 to 6, this is nothing but the product development, or we can say that life cycle. Okay, this is very important, and the whole subject, the complete subject talks about it, and which is going to use your complete knowledge. Okay, knowledge you have acquired throughout your degree course, what you know, what itsy bitsy thing you know, you can write it down in this subject. So I can say that this is a summary of your ENTC engineering. You can write down each and every understanding of the subject. Okay, and this is the end for today's session. From next session we are going to start with unit number 1, and those session will be kind of very crisp. Okay, all the sessions are will be actual theoretical sessions, but from next point onward, the what we will do, we will have a topic and we will have a very crisp discussion about that topic. Okay, the discussion will not be a kind of vague. Maybe probably one or two case studies we are going to discuss while discussing those theoretical topics as well, so that the lecture will be interesting. I will try those case studies, I will try to find those case studies, no problem, no worries about it. But for today's session, that's all. Thank you.